Welcome to Wednesday Night Live from the Basement. Here's your hosts, Rob, Daryl, and Joe.
And that's exactly who's here. Rob, Daryl, and Joe. Welcome, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Doing well, thank you.
All good.
And you?
Before we kick it off, I'm going to throw this over to Daryl. He's got a little something that he wants to say. So take her away there, Daryl. Hold on. Let me do this. Hold on. There we go. Take it away.
Oh, there we go. Is it giving? It's giving you a hard time again today, eh?
It is. Yeah, it's kind of laggy.
So yeah, no, I mean it's been good. First day back at work. However, I'm gonna, I guess, dedicate this episode. We found out this past weekend that a former student of mine actually was killed in a car crash. So I'm just gonna, if you can see her on the screen there, her name was Amber. Yeah, we'll just dedicate this episode to her. I mean, she was, not the superstar student or anything, but she was a nice kid. And I think that based on today's topic, good people, it's only right that I should do that. So there we go. That's what I wanted to say at the beginning.
All right. Well, my condolences.
Yes.
I didn't know her, but that's such a horrible, tragic thing, and you can't imagine what her family's going through. So,
yeah, and it was in one of those remote places in Manitoba. It was pretty crazy when we all found out. So
yeah. Oh, geez. Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, and I've obviously never been a teacher, but you all want your students to be good students as far as excel academically. But in the end, I think it's much more important that they are good kids. And that sounds like that was the case. So that's good. We take that away from it, that she was a good kid and unfortunately not with us anymore. So
yeah. And then, sadly, I was telling Rob too that we found out that another student, grade 12 of ours, definitely won't be returning for this semester. Maybe not the whole year. He was just diagnosed with leukemia. So he's in treatment in Kingston for at least a month, they said.
Yeah.
And that's just the treatment. That's not even anything else. So,
Jesus.
It's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess, in my career. I mean, it's been a long time since anything like that has been addressed. Kind of a double whammy.
Yeah.
Life's a bitch.
Yeah.
Speaking of bitches, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Chris. How you doing? Chris, man, welcome. That's a funny joke, but it was very insensitive. I'm sorry, Chris.
Well, I think if you didn't, Chris probably would have wondered what was going on, right?
Maybe, right? He would have thought I was off my game or something. Trevor, how you doing, sir?
Yeah.
We're talking, so for anyone that tuned in last week, we were talking about wankers, those people that are
Assholes.
There you go.
Yeah, sure. It's just a good word, isn't it? It just really does sum it up. It's one of those words that when you say it, you don't have to think about what do they mean?
Right.
You know exactly what they mean.
Exactly. So the flip side of that coin is we thought, and it was Joe's idea, that we should there he is. That we should talk good guys or good gals tonight. So sort of the flip side of the coin. But before we get into that, what's new with you guys? Anything exciting happening? Daryl's back at work. So
back to work. Yeah.
Teachers with their 2 months off. It's pretty rough.
Oh, don't forget Christmas break, New Year's, Easter. Don't forget those ones.
Everybody forgets all those. All we ever bitch about is those 2 months you guys get off. Never mind all the rest of the time.
Yeah, if you add everything else together, it's really 4 months altogether. So
yeah.
Jesus.
Something like that.
I don't need my 2 weeks. Well, Christ.
Exactly.
I'm sure the kids were more than they come back Friday, right? So
yeah, I got PD days today and tomorrow. Blah. Same old regurgitated stuff I've been doing for 20 years, but hey. And then Friday we got grade 9s, and then Monday is the whole school.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to bring it up, Chris, but yeah, the elephant in the room is Daryl's shirt. And all I would say about Daryl's shirt is if I bought it for 5 cents, I would want a Nickelback.
I, unlike Rob, am not a Nickelback hater. I'm okay with Nickelback.
I don't hate them. We've talked about that before. There's lots of I don't hate him. So
I would rather listen to an elephant that had violent diarrhea than listen to Nickelback.
However, Chris, if I
the
only
same.
had to get one album by Nickelback, it would be a greatest hits album.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I haven't listened to a lot of the other ones, but the hits anyway. We don't need to debate. We don't need to debate the hate and the love for Nickelback because there's probably 75-25, and in this room, it's probably, I don't know, maybe you and me, Daryl, and then everybody else. I don't know for sure, but
what's Tim saying? Hey guys, sorry, Daryl, that's not good news at all. We're going through a couple of losses in the family as well. Sorry to hear that, Tim. That sucks, man.
Yeah,
exactly.
Did somebody mention greatest hits? Yes. We better not mention Billy Joel or John will show up.
Yeah, that's right. I still haven't watched the second half. It's been a little nuts around here. So, and it's 2.5 hours long, each of the episodes of that Billy Joel special. So we could watch it just a little bit, but Joanne and I just haven't had the time. And no, I didn't watch what I promised I would do. What I'm going to. I know I this time I promise. I pinky swear. I Cub Scout honor. Is it 3 or 2? I don't remember. Anyway, but yes. I will.
I got to fill you in on all the juicy details after watching the shit I'm not allowed to share publicly. So
yeah,
I gotta gossip to somebody about it. So
yeah, that's right. I did watch one last night though. I watched the Devo one, and I think you have to be a fan of Devo to enjoy it. Like, and I am, but I'm not a super fan. They were weird dudes. They were just
Joe.
Really
that's a topic for another show. Bands that are just complete weirdos.
And they were, and they had, I mean, yeah, there's lots of guys I like that are complete weirdos as well. And I don't dislike Devo. I was not a huge fan.
Well, you hang out with us, so.
Yeah, that's right. So, exactly.
You could invite him to our show. The lead singer of Devo.
Yeah. Maybe. But yeah, so there you go. Oh yeah, he watched the Ginger Baker one. That's, I think, what he's talking about. So, yeah.
Have we done an episode on music documentaries? I don't think we have.
I don't know that we have. We talk, well, I guess we being I and you guys talk about it all the time. So there's a topic for down the line in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Trevor and Richard are saying kind of the same thing. Nickelback is a gateway to something better. Well, it can't be a gateway to something worse. So by default, it has to be.
Oh, man.
Look who's watching. Jason Arsenault.
Hey,
no
Jason.
text while I'm on the live stream, Jason. I'm not going to look at them.
Yeah, which usually means that send me some text, Jason. I think that's
don't.
code. No, it is. It's just code. Just admit it. It's code for send me some text.
No.
Okay.
We send them all day long trying to crack each other up. Just not while I'm hosting live stream.
Fair enough. So I would recommend the Devo documentary. For nothing else, then it was kind of interesting. It wasn't my favorite one, but it was interesting. So there you go.
There you go. I watch a lot of documentaries, but not about music. So,
I got a concert this weekend that I'm looking forward to.
Who's that?
The Headstones. So we'll be good. The Headstones. What's left of the Stampeders, which is still 3 of them. They're just 100, but I saw them, I don't know, 7 years ago, and they were 100 already. But they were good, so I'm looking forward to that. Trooper, which is nobody from Trooper anymore, and that's another topic. But anyway, and then the Kings. So switching to Glide, The Beat Goes On, which I've never seen, and that's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to that. That's Saturday. Friday, I can't go Friday, but Finger 11 and Default and Helix, I think, are Friday night. So this is our little by the lake thing, right? The 3,500 people charge you $70 to get in. It's all Canadian acts. It should be pretty decent. So I'm looking forward to the Headstones. I think that'll be good. So smile and wave.
Finger 11 was some of my favorite strip club music because you heard it every night in the strip club. On the 1 or 2 times that I went to the strip club.
Yeah. You from the outside. Oh,
right.
What's that? As you walked past.
Right. As you walked by the building going down. Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to go on Friday because I'd like to see Default, and I'd like to see Finger 11 as long as they swore to me that they did not play Paralyzer because
I love Paralyzer.
Yeah, I can't
love it.
It's over for me, it's overplayed. It's one of those. It's like
more overplayed than Bryan Adams.
Yeah, for a while when it was big for me anyway at the time.
Joe,
I thought maybe they owned the station and just kept playing their own song because
Joe, if you like Finger 11 for the reasons I liked Finger 11, you would never think they're overplayed. Trust me.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to put that together in my mind and understand what you're saying.
Right.
And then it could be overplayed all it wanted. But
Right.
for me, it was just driving down the road listening on the radio. So we'll leave it at that.
My phone just went ding. Anyone want to place a wager who that is?
I don't know, but does it rhyme with Mason? I don't know.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. Trevor is saying he saw Finger 11 in 99 in a tiny club. Their opening band was on their first tour. Buck Cherry. Oh, God. As I like to say, fuck Cherry. Can't stand it.
I saw Buck Cherry a long time ago. Pretty decent at that time. I think maybe they opened up for Crew or one of them. And then I saw him with Alice Cooper 2 years ago, and they shouldn't be taking people's money anymore. They were just a bunch of posers. He couldn't sing. It was horrible. And like I said, I kind of like their stuff. But anyway.
Yes, I remember when Finger 11 was the Rainbow Butt Monkeys because my best friend at the time was a huge Butt Monkeys fan. I remember that well. Richard is saying that he watched Becoming Led Zeppelin. So good. Cool.
Yeah, I haven't yet. On the list.
The two remaining albums I recommended. Okay, they'll be there in 2 days. So Chris and I text about as much as you and I text each other, Joe.
Yeah.
And he sends me a message a couple days ago. He'd ordered one album that I talked about. Then he sends me a message about an hour later, and then he's ordered another one. And by the end of the day, he ordered 4 albums that I talked about. And I said, don't you dare blame me for this, Chris.
That's right.
Well, then he posted a video today blaming me for recommending records.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't get a chance to watch, but I saw the post. Yeah. So
yeah. Jason,
we are either the blame or to thank for our recommendations, right?
I mean, I guess I can officially say that I am a social media influencer because
you can.
I influence somebody to buy something. So
yeah, I'm still trying to.
Anyone that wants to sponsor me, I'll be a whore, no problem.
I'm still trying to get my makeup tips page off the mat. That's probably not going to happen. So.
There you go. What's going on at the store, Joe? Anything exciting?
Store's good. A couple of I always say it, but they're always that's the thing with the record stores is that you're always in the process of trying to buy collections from people. I think I said that to you today. I think I said I need another collection to keep me occupied. I bought, I don't know, about 100 or so a couple weeks ago, but there's a big one out there that we're working on, but again, it's finding the right people at the right price, and I want to pay them fairly. I was watching something with Dylan from Noble Records today talking about fair pricing when you buy albums from people, whether it's for cash or whether it's for trade. And we try and do that as best as we can. But at the same time, I also need to get them at a decent price because I'm buying 1,000 from you, and we've had this before, but I also sell them at a fair price. If I we'll call it overcharged. That's not the right word. That's just the word I'm going to use. If I overcharged or charged the top end for albums, I could then pay a little bit more if I knew I was going to sell them. But I know about where I'm selling stuff at, and I know what I have to get it at to keep it selling at that. So we'll see what happens. There's a couple of them. Some people understand. The Pat and Harry collection that we bought, Pat understood completely. She'd been in the music industry, we'll call it, whatever you want to call it, for a long time. So she understood. She knew what she was going to get for 25 to 3,000 albums, what she was going to get per album. And it was good. They were done. I came, I boxed them. I picked them up. I took them all. I didn't take them up the stairs because I'm too old and fat to do that. But, and they were gone. But there's people that I tell you, they still think that everything is worth $100 because somewhere someone sold one for $100 and, or it's the 0000010 copy of the White Album, and they think that's what they've got when they've got the billionth album of the White Album, which is still worth a little bit, but it's definitely not worth the same as one with low digits on it. But anyway, I bitch about that. I don't know if bitch is the right word. I talk about that all the time, but it is something that comes up. So
That's another topic we could do. We could do our pet peeves, and that could be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I have many audio files.
And Chris,
Sorry, I had a little frog in my throat there.
Chris, you can call me Joey. That's all right. Lots of people do. So just call me shithead if you like. I don't care. Just call me.
As my dad used to say, I've been called worse by better.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. Exactly. Last thing, because I thought about it, and it has nothing to do with music, but I am this excited about this television show. It's called The Pit. I don't know if you guys have watched it yet, or if anybody else has
my
watched
wife
it.
wants to watch it. That's the one with what's his name, Noah Wiley, right?
Yes, it is, and it's the same guys that produced were the kind of the showrunners for ER. I had kind of written it off that it was just going to be another, doctors making out in storage closets and shit like that, kind of like Grey's Anatomy, although I've never seen an episode of Grey's Anatomy. Anyway, my son watched it and recommended it. It is one of the best shows ever, guys. Like, it is outstanding. Again, you have to obviously be somewhat intrigued by that type of stories, but it's about an emergency room in Pittsburgh. It's 14 hours of their day. And the people in it, I recognize Noah Wiley. Other than that, I hardly recognize anybody. And these actors and actresses are unbelievable. And it's a really, really compelling story. It's like, holy shit, and stress. And it's just very good. So I know it has nothing to do with what we normally talk about here, but it's just a really, really fantastic show that I definitely recommend to people. So there.
We could do an episode one week about TV shows and movies that has nothing to do with music. We could do that.
Yeah, we can do that. I watch far too much TV and that. So, but
I watch very little.
It is unbelievable, and it builds. Like from the first episode, it's outstanding, and then it just gets insanely better. It's called The Pit, the PITT, like Pittsburgh. That's where it's based. There's another reason it's called that, but and Wiley's phenomenal. Like, if the dude only ever plays a doctor, he's set. He's very, very good.
Fallen Skies, which was an alien show he was in.
Yeah, he's just really good, and it is again, it's so well written and so well acted by a bunch of people I have no idea who they are, and they're just phenomenal. So there, a TV show recommendation. But anyway, I digress.
If it's not aliens or zombies or the apocalypse, I'm not watching it because I don't have the attention span.
I haven't started watching Alien Earth yet, or what's it called?
One great show. I don't know if you've seen it. It was on Apple TV. Have you heard of Silo?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. It's on the list.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The best TV show I've watched in my entire life.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Apple TV
by far, like, it's not even close.
Yeah, that's good.
Two seasons, I think it's like 8 episodes each. Binge it. It's phenomenal.
On the list. For sure.
And I've referred a couple friends to it, and I've said to them, because my wife was kind of like, I don't know, and I'm like, let's try it. And we were hooked by the end of the first episode, and I said to my 3 buddies that I recommended to, I said, if each one of you guys are not hooked by the end of the first episode, I'll buy you dinner. And every one of them called me the next day, and they went, you don't owe me dinner.
Not a problem. Yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
We're hooked. So
yeah, I'm confident in, again, as long as you like the topic, I suppose. Yeah, I'm confident in a money back guarantee on this show, The Pit. Anyway, there we go. So Daryl, your wife, tell her Joe said yes. Not that she needs money.
I will definitely let her know, because she had considered watching it. We've been watching one on Prime called Countdown, which, I mean, it's not the most phenomenal thing, but it's one of those like crime type things, whether they're going out to get the Russians or whatever it is. And it's been pretty good. I think there's been 12 episodes out so far. It's been pretty good. That's another one I would recommend.
Chris is going to watch The Silo. Chris, if you and Liz aren't hooked after the first episode, I'll buy you dinner.
There you go. Yeah.
And I guarantee you're going to text me the next morning and go, what's outside? I guarantee it.
Don't look in the box. Don't look in the box. Anyway. Okay, enough about TV, I guess. Not that that's a bad thing. Or movies, but still.
We should talk about records now, I guess, eh?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Kind of what we're here for. So, good guys or girls or whatever is the topic tonight. So kind of the opposite of last week. Last week was wankers. People that, as Joe put it so eloquently, are assholes. This is the opposite of that. And I think we all sort of agreed before we went live that this was a lot harder to do. It's very easy to hear about someone being an asshole. But I think a lot of my personal opinion, I think a lot of the musicians that are genuinely good people and do good things, you don't often hear about because, number one, it's not salacious. And number two, I think they do it not for the publicity. They do it because they're good people, whatever the it is. So there may be a lot of people that are musicians that do wonderful things that we just don't hear about. So
yeah,
I found this way harder. I mean, I had no problems picking 15 wankers last week, and I probably have another 20 here. The good guys or good girls was a little more. Richard's going, wait, they're good people. Yeah, there's you, Richard.
Yeah, that's right. And yes, it is on Max. Sorry, Richard. I didn't mean to recommend something that you can't get, but find a way.
Jason thinks a one-off TV movie chat would be a good idea. Well, you have to join us that week, Jason. You want to be our guest that week?
Yeah.
We'll do it up. All right. So which one of you guys wants to go first? We don't have a special guest, so you guys pick.
Daryl, go ahead, sir.
All right. So all you guys that were criticizing my shirt at the beginning, those of you that live in the United States, I know, Rob, you're not going to be a hater of this, and Joe, you're not a hater of this, but this might be the most divisive woman in music right now in the United States. But I think she's a good person, and that's Taylor.
Oh, you stole my first pick, man. God damn.
I got to go with Taylor. That was the first one that came to mind as soon as we came up with this topic.
I'm Swiftie here, you guys. You're pissing on my lawn. That's not very good of you, Daryl. But go ahead.
That's not, eh? But you're not a hater of that. Maybe it's just the Nickelback vibes of
that must be it. It set me off. All right.
Now this is the Taylor's version of 1989, and I've showed this before on the Tangerine, nice Tangerine record. But I mean, I don't know. I know that everybody's a hater because you look Travis Kelce and they have their show and their whatever, and she flew in her $50 million airplane to get to the world, the football, NFL, Super Bowl, and all that kind of stuff. But I think she's just seems like a genuinely nice person, a good role model for not just teen girls, but teenagers in general. I mean, yeah, she went from that breakup country stuff that she used to do to modern breakup pop music, but she just doesn't seem to be the kind of person that has a bad bone in her body. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to let you talk about her after there, Rob, but that's all I got to say about Taylor. I think she's a genuinely nice person who could donate millions of dollars to every country in the world and still have $1 billion in her bank account. There you go.
All right. Well,
you keep going. Yeah.
I'm going to keep going because that logically makes sense. So, I'm going to show this one because I have every Taylor record and multiples of some of them. This is the Tortured Poets Department, the anthology. So this is the most recent one. This is the 4 LP version. So, do I have another 5,000 variants of 1989? I don't have 5. I have 3. But anyway. So yeah, I mean, yes, by all accounts, she is a wonderful person. Many, many people have said it. I've seen, countless videos of she's on her way into something and there's a little kid there and she'll stop and she'll come and shake that little kid's hand. But beyond all of that nice stuff, the one thing that got a lot of headlines when she was on the Eras tour, I don't remember the number, but I think it was for each. She had 2 stage setups because as one was being set up in one city, she was performing on the one at the other city, and then she'd move to the one, and they'd always be one ahead of her, so that the logistics of the concert planning. So in order to do that, she owns her own trucking company and employs 100 truck drivers because it takes, I guess, 45 trucks to do one stage setup for the Eras Tour. And at the end of the Eras Tour, she gave bonuses to each truck driver of $100,000.
Yeah.
Not for all of them, $100,000 each times 100 people. Because she said to them, without you guys, there's no Eras Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. Now, to her, that's $10 million. When your bank account says $1.5 billion, what the hell do you care about $10 million? So good for her. And the other thing, what's Rich saying? This is getting as creepy. Yeah, whatever. The other thing that was impressive is, and again, didn't get a ton of press. Every stop she did on the Eras Tour, she donated some like 25 or 50,000 or 100,000. I've read different numbers to the local food bank at every city that she stopped at. Mm-hmm. Just a few examples, and you got to go. Hats off to her, right? I mean, when you've got that much money, you can't spend $1 billion. If you can spend $1 billion, you have problems. So good for her for spreading it around. And by all accounts, she's a pretty down-to-earth person. And, I'm just very upset that Travis got her and I didn't, asshole. So there you go. Rich going, this is getting as creepy as a recent James Comey video. Welcome, Rich. Chris saying, you got to take my hat off to Taylor. That's pretty epic. Yes, it is. There you go.
Were those gatefolds? Jesus Christ.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yes.
I thought they were.
Hold on, there's a book in there.
Because I've never seen the inside. I don't think of the Taylor. We had a different version at the shop. So
she's looking a little sultry in this one.
She is.
Yeah.
Well, she is the last American showgirl. Or what's it called?
Well, the next one's called Life of a Showgirl.
Life of a Showgirl. I already have pre-orders.
I had to do this. I did it.
Grip it and rip it. Which is what I do when I think of Taylor.
Because I had to show the gatefold, which is a nice gatefold.
It is. It is.
I bought the pink version because she's on the cover in a white tank top and looks hot as hell. So,
there you go.
I'm unabashedly a Swiftie. So if that's creepy for you, Rich, too damn bad. It's quite funny watching a Nickelback fan trying to show a gatefold. Gatefold police, Richard's here. So.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. All right, Joe, or Stanley, as I should say.
Look, I have very few rules, Richard. You just got to follow. That's all I ask.
That's it.
All right. I'm going to stick with a female performer as well. She's not necessarily the girl next door, which I think Taylor could kind of be considered, I think. This might be Good Witch, Bad Witch, or Good Witch and Dark Witch. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go with my Taylor Swift, which is Lady Gaga, and we'll just do the gatefold. Not near as cool as the other one, but mayhem is always good. I don't know about all of the philanthropic, if there is. I'm sure that there is, because I think when you get to the level of some of these performers, it's almost an automatic. Like the manager, I would think goes, okay, you have to do a little bit of this. Not everybody, but I think that some do. Jason sending you more stuff that you can.
He's sending me more stuff. He's a troublemaker.
But Lady Gaga for sure has her followers, and she takes very good care of those and is very inclusive of everybody. Obviously, the LGBTQ plus. I know I'm missing something. I think there's an A in there now, and I'm not making light of it. I just cannot remember actually all of the parts and
just say the whole alphabet.
Yeah. So that for me, that's a big part of it, is that she definitely is very inclusive of everybody. Whether you're big, you're small, you're old, you're young, I don't think any of that necessarily matters to her. So that's a big part of it. And again, I would imagine the philanthropic part is there. We don't necessarily hear about it. We heard about the truckers. We heard everything about that Eras tour. It was the thing going on. So, which is great because there was a lot of positive things came out of the Eras tour. So there you go. That's my first choice. It would just happen to be at the top, and then I thought we'd keep going with probably, arguably, two of the biggest female performers out there right now. There is Chapel Roan, and there's Charlie XCX, and there's Sabrina Carpenter, and there's all that. But I would say that Taylor and Gaga are the two biggest currently. I would argue that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
that's fair. Chris is saying that gatefold looks like an Alice Cooper gatefold.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, Mayhem. Sure, I'll give you that. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're caught up in comments, so we'll go around again. Daryl, don't steal my next pick.
Oh, you have no worries about this. I'll bet you don't even own this album at all.
Is this Greenland throat singing?
No, no, but it is some weird music. So speaking of weird bands, this one's gonna come up, but so this is my most recent purchase. So on my way back from vacation, stopping through North Bay, I managed to get this. If there's any band that I want to be a completionist of, it's going to be this one, because they're my favorite band from the 90s, if not of all time. Just kind of quirky. If I were to say who I think is probably the best bassist, or at least slap bassist on the planet, it would be the bassist from this band. He's also the lead singer from this band. One of the weirdest bands, and we talk about philanthropic stuff. I don't think there's any philanthropic stuff here. He just seems like a funny guy. Apparently smokes a lot of weed, so he's a pretty chill guy. And he spends lots of time with his wife and kids. He belongs to like a million other bands, and that's Les Claypool from Primus. I think he's a pretty cool guy. I'm trying to be a completionist, but there's a couple albums by these guys that they have on vinyl. The one that's after this, I think it's called Anti-Pop. It's so hard to find, and it's not a cheap album. This one here is a gatefold. There's the members, well, the band there. It's only a 3-piece band. But no, I grew up loving these guys. Funny enough, my mom is the one that introduced me to them, because she was watching music videos on TV and Primus came on. When they were doing their Pork Soda album, which is the one with that pig on the cover and all the bubbles. And it's funny, my mom was watching it, and she was just so bizarred by this band that she was like, "You got to get this, Daryl. You got to get this. This is some cool music." So my mom likes Primus, which is hilarious. If you know anything about my mom likes like the Doobie Brothers. not into Primus, that's for sure. So, and the back of this album reminds me of something from the 1970s. It's as boring as all get out with just the songs. But no, they're a great band, and I don't know if he's a great individual or a great human being, but even when they were at Woodstock and stuff, he was just taking the mud to the face in stride, didn't miss a beat. Just seems like the kind of guy that just doesn't care, and just a chill guy. So he seems like a good person.
If we ever start naming these episodes, My Mom Likes Primus is what this one is called. I'm putting that out there right now. If we're labeling them, My Mom Likes Primus. That's it. Anything else to say will not matter anymore. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go someone I talk about a lot, but he's a good dude. And I know for a fact he's a good dude because I've met him more times than I can count. Adam Baldwin. The undiscovered national treasure in my mind from Nova Scotia, who I talk about a lot. And Joe's going to have the pleasure to finally see him in November. Is it November?
November, yeah, in Saskatoon. Yep.
I'm going to see him a few weeks before in Hamilton. Like I said, I've met him many times, and he's just such a cool guy. He's not a famous rock star, certainly not. Yes, Chris ordered Concertos and Serenades, which is the album I rave about all the time. So can't wait to see what you think of this, Chris. This is his EP from like 2012, and it's very Bruce Springsteen. So, the joke, he had a leather jacket on, his hair slicked back. His band on this album used to call him the supervisor because he wasn't quite the boss.
That's good.
Which is funny. But, he is a super nice guy. And one of the things that really, really impressed me When we were all in lockdown in the pandemic, he started doing a thing on YouTube called the cross country chin up, which is a chin up is an East Coast expression for, cheering somebody up, right? And so what he would do is he was at I think he did it at 2 different bars in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and it would just be him with the piano or him with the guitar, and he'd have his producer behind the screen just working the camera or whatever, and he would come on every Friday night for 2 hours, just him, to entertain people across Canada, because we were all in our houses, and in his own words, we were all going shack wacky. And we were. And he was just such I watched every one of them, and it just kind of sort of felt like we were all in this together. And it ended up that because people were asking, can I donate to something? So it eventually evolved into every week he'd have sort of a charity that people could donate to if they wish. So he took this as an opportunity to kind of brighten everybody's day and raise a little bit of money for some local causes. And he did this 25 times.
Wow.
So there's 25 2-hour concerts of him in a bar. They're all still on YouTube. I've ripped all of them, and I have them so that I can listen to them because they're incredible. But it was just, at a time when we were all sort of down and out and like, the world's coming to an end, maybe. I don't know. We're all going to die. I don't know. He just kind of thought, I can do something to bring a little light into people's lives. And I just was always struck by how incredible that was. And he put out some amazing music from that. And he's just such a nice dude anytime I talk to him. So there you go.
That's all we're searching for in the world, is good people to hang out with, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what kind of sex you like. I don't care anything else. Are you a good dude or a good dudette? That's really what I care about. And that's, and full credit to my wife, who actually suggested, well, if you guys did all the assholes last week, you should do the good guys this week. So yeah, I know it was my idea, but it wasn't. It was Joanne's, and she's the brains of this operation. She's the brains and the beauty and a lot of other things. I can work the TV. I can make the TV work. That's about the extent of it.
That's kind of our house too. Yeah, exactly.
I'm the electronics guy. So yeah.
Chris is saying he's been streaming Adam all week. Oh, well, that's great, man. That's cool. In my top 3 or 4 artists of all time, I love them that much. Sam, how you doing?
Our new married friend, our newly married friend is here.
Sure.
He's moved out of his apartment and everything now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good for Sam. I felt bad for Sam. Someone tried to hack his live stream the other day, impersonating themselves as me. And it was a whole thing. I felt so bad for Sam. Sam, sorry, man. Again, not that it's my fault, but that just sucks that it happened. So if anyone happened to have caught the end of Sam's stream there, it was not me. I would not do that. Sam's my good pal. I would never do that. So it wasn't Sam, and it wasn't planned, and so whatever. Okay, Joe, your turn.
All right. So last week when we were talking about we were talking to Tim, who I think was here earlier. I don't know if he's still with us.
He popped in. He's busy with the kids tonight, so
listening in the background with the kids. Anyway, a lot of unfortunately for him, it was meetings with guys and or women that kind of fell into that category, right? Where they were a little rude when he was meeting them and things like that. So for me, the next guys, I wear their shirt a lot of the times on here, and I've talked about them lots. And I don't have an album to show. I've just got this turntable mat, actually, because although they've now got 8 of their own songs, I keep bugging them when I talk to them and when I see them. You got to make a vinyl record soon, right? And Brent is saying yes, we're working on it. They've got a CD, but they haven't got anything vinyl yet. But anyway, it's Took. You guys know who they are because I talk about them ad nauseum, and I think almost everybody in there probably knows them as well. 4 good Canadian kids. Every time they come to town, Joanne and I go and we do the meet and greet. And yeah, they charge a little bit, but I don't care. They'd probably do it for free, and I don't mind paying a little bit, so that's okay. But it's not just, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Move down the line, take a picture, and get the hell out of here. These guys will talk. Brent Fitz and I talked about the record shops in Winnipeg that he likes to go to because we had just been there. and we talked about that. Joanne talks to Todd Kearns, the lead singer, rhythm guitarist, about cats, because he actually has a shelter for cats, and he has a foundation that helps stray cats where he lives down in Vegas and things like that. Corey Churko, who's been in Shania's band, he's currently with Kelly Clarkson on tour. He's one of those guys that, and you have to be a good guy, I would think. Your talent's probably going to take you from band to band, but I think you actually have to be a decent guy for these artists who want you to come and go out on tour with them. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they'll take an asshole if he's one of the best. But Corey seems like a very good guy on top of being a great player. And Shane, I haven't had a chance to talk to Shane, the drummer, a lot, but he's a very nice guy as well. They're always down to earth. They're just a bunch of good Canadian kids from Western Canada. And they've just always been fantastic. They put on a fantastic show. They're always wonderful to chat and talk to you. And not just, again, it's not just a meet and greet. It's not just a hi, how are you? It's not quite the meet and greet that I think you're going to talk about coming up, because that's one of the best stories. But these guys were really, really good and continue to be. And I think will always continue to be. And yeah, they're just a bit of a Canadian cover band, but they're also the conspirators from Slash's band. So I think you got to be pretty decent to be in Slash's band with Miles Kennedy, Age of Electric, and all those other things that they've been as well. So Took, a bunch of good Canadian kids, and just really, really decent guys as far as I have ever seen. A little rock starry still, but you're going to be a little rock starry if you're a rock star. You know, I don't think anybody's going to be completely down to earth, although, again, I think, Rob, you'll probably have a guy that you'll talk about, I would imagine, completely down to earth. But
I will. I'm also going to show, as you mentioned, one of the guys that is in Took's band is also in Shania's band, but is that with Kelly Clarkson? You might see a record with his replacement in Shania's band come up in a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's it. So, yeah, like I said, just really good guys, plus fantastic musicians, and put on a fantastic show. So, you know, I don't think you can ask for a whole hell of a lot more than those three things. So,
indeed. Lots of chats about the live stream. Sam says he's taking precautions. You should always wear protection, Sam.
That's right. Whenever live streaming, make sure you're wearing protection.
Exactly. And Richard says we all need a safe word on live streams these days. The safe word is watermelon.
I thought it was banana.
Watermelon.
I don't know why, but why not?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Daryl, you're up.
All right. So, Joe, earlier you talked about Lady Gaga in the modern era. We're going to talk about, probably from a male perspective, the biggest Lady Gaga male performer of all time, I would think. And he's raised, I'm looking here, I think it's $300 or $200 million towards AIDS Foundation, AIDS research, when he started his Elton John AIDS Foundation. So, funny enough, I didn't grab an Elton John record with Elton John on it. I grabbed the most plain one, Too Low for Zero, but I really like that. I guess that's why they call it the blues. That's like my favorite Elton John song. I don't know why, but yeah, no, I mean, just reading about Elton John and his partner, David, yeah, you know, doing all kinds of charity work. They've supported over 100 different charities since 2007. You know, he's worked with benefit concerts with Lady Gaga.
Yep.
COVID Solidarity Response Fund. You name it, he's been there. And I mean, I'm sure that after doing as many performances as he's done over the years and stuff like that, like some of the others, I mean, I could see getting a little irritated at times when people are like in your face and all that kind of stuff. But I've never really seen a video or anything where Elton John is screaming and yelling and punching other people out of his way. And of course, then, you know, from, I guess, a UK perspective, one of the most tragic incidents with Lady Diana in the 90s, and rewriting his song as a tribute to her and all that. I mean, he just seems to be a guy that cares about other people, whether it's celebrities or whether it's kids or whatever his foundations he's supporting. He seems like a genuinely nice individual, and I think he's been knighted too. I think, yeah, he's even been knighted. So it goes to show what the UK is. I mean, I don't know, Chris. Maybe you could shed some light on what people perceive him in the UK and Ireland and stuff. But I think genuinely over here we look at him and go, he's a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's, as I think you eloquently put, I'm sure he's a diva from time to time. 100%, I'm sure that he is, right? And probably was a lot more when he was drinking and things like that. Mm-hmm. But in the overall grand scheme of the things, yeah. And of course, I had him pulled out as well. He just does a lot of the right things. He hangs out. It seems like he hangs out with a lot of the right people and is involved with a lot of the right people as well. And he's just, I agree. And it's not just a gatefold, it's a trifold. So there you go. You get the whole thing. And one of my favorite artists, one of my favorite albums of all time as well. But yeah, you cannot like his music. You cannot like the fact that he's a homosexual man if you choose to. I don't understand why that would matter, but you cannot deny the fact that he has been a positive influence on a lot of good things. Yeah. So no brainer for sure.
Chris is telling us that Alan John is a national hero. That's great. We asked about Elton John.
That's right. Yeah.
If you can't follow the assignment, it's time for you to go to bed.
And I can just kind of barely get this back in this sleeve. If I was to get the larger sleeve, the 13-inch sleeve that you can get from vinylstoragesolutions.ca, it would probably go in there a lot better because it is a trifold. And then I'm one of those guys that puts them in the back like that, which Rob doesn't understand, but that's okay. We like them anyway. But if you go to vinylstoragesolutions.ca, they've got 12-inch, 12.75, and 13-inch sleeves, outers. They've got all the inners that you need. And then you too can get your trifold version of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And it will be a little easier to get it in if you get the 13-inch ones.
Speaking of good guys, we got a good advertiser here.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But Rob, you must be making a fortune, a killing off this stuff.
No. So
there you go. Hit the barcode. Northern 10. That is what you want to use. I think they've got $10 flat shipping right now. They've got a whole bunch of new products. So again, we talk about, I joke around, but I'm not joking around at the same time because it is good stuff. So it is important for all of us. We talk about that stuff because it is good things that we all use. So why not get them from a really good source? So, hey, look, it's Brian from Tokyo.
I did make $11 last week off.
All right.
$11.97, I think it was.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I didn't mean to jump in there, but while we were talking about Elton, so.
We got to get back to Chris's comment here. What were we saying here? All right, now we did the homework. Elton John's a national hero. Everyone loves him, especially when he made a stand with Princess Diana on the royal family. They didn't like him, but he's a great performer. Yeah. Just in time for my favorite part. Someone was asking, has Bono come up yet? He is going to. I don't know about these guys, but I have him in my pile. So, yes, he's coming up in a little bit.
He might be, I don't know, there might be a couple, but he's going to be the one for sure that was it last week and this week. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm so glad I stayed up for the promotional video from Joe. I think I'm going to go to bed, but great show. We'll catch up tomorrow. Sounds good, man. Talk to you tomorrow.
Have a good night.
Night, Chris. I can't come on Sunday. I got a football game. I'll just tell you right now. I know.
Dolly Parton falls into that category. Yes, I have Dolly Parton in my pile. I have one record that she's on. So, yes, Dolly Parton will make a contribution. Speaking of good guys, and I mean this with all sincerity, Brian.
Yeah.
One of the good guys of the VC. I mean that with the utmost sincerity. One of my favorite channels. So you just are the good guy to contribute.
Yeah. Brian. It's just a pleasure to watch, right? It's just you can tell he is really, I mean, we all enjoy when we do these things.
Yes.
But Brian just seems to be enjoying it just a little bit more than the rest.
He just seems like the friendliest guy that everybody loves, and there's just a passion for what he's doing that exudes. And I wish I could I wish I could portray my love for music half as much as well as Brian does. So
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. And to
we
see
need it,
what he
man.
does
I'm
over there is
serious.
fantastic. It's true, man.
It
Too
is.
bad. We're going to
It
say
is.
nice things. Too bad.
Yeah. You can't take the compliments. Get out of the comments section.
So the comments. Yeah.
And Brian, the invitation stands, man. If you ever want to join us again, just let us know and we'll work something out. Because when you were on with us, we had a blast.
Yeah.
All right.
I went out of
turn,
turn, so you and then Daryl can go
Me?
again. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
it's
not
you.
getting it wrong.
Oh,
Well, no.
Daryl went Elton John. All right.
Yeah.
So it's my turn then.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. There you go.
Okay. All right. So this was actually the first one that came to my mind. The first thing that come to my mind was not Taylor. Surprisingly. John Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
He's I mean, among other, I mean, I don't know what he's like as a person, because I don't know him. But him and his wife started the John Bon Jovi Foundation, which has done amazing charity work. He started the Soul Kitchen in whatever this town is that he's from in New Jersey. And it's a restaurant that if you can't afford a meal, they're going to serve you anyway.
Yeah.
And John himself goes and cooks and does dishes, and help you pay what you can pay. And he's done a lot to fight, homelessness in New Jersey. And just by all accounts, a pretty down-to-earth guy that wants to sort of, pay it forward. And that's absolutely admirable. So I'm on board.
Agreed.
I had considered putting this on the list, but I thought that you might put him on there, so I kind of let that one slide.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I think we've got a few that we're going to cross the streams with a little bit here because, yeah, he's definitely a guy that comes to mind. You see the picture of him working the kitchen in that place all the time, right? And he's just doing that. And you're right. We don't know these people, but you get a little bit of an idea, especially when you do watch a documentary. You think, well, they're going to put their best foot forward, but still, you can tell if they're an asshole, even if they're trying not to be, I think.
Yeah.
And he has never really seemed to come across that way. So.
Yeah, he never did the whole, like, I'm going to be like Axl Rose and all that kind of stuff. Like, he took rock and roll of the 80s and all that kind of stuff, and it wasn't hair metal per se. But he didn't cross that line that Vince Neil and Axl Rose and all them did. He kind of kept it on the straight and narrow and did good things.
Yeah, agreed. You were going to say, Rob? Sorry.
To say, speaking of Bon Jovi, I won't share this story, but I have a story about the time my dad went to a strip club with Phil X.
Yeah.
Not was in the strip club at this, like they went together in the same automobile.
Yeah.
Speaking of Phil X, actually, I had read that Phil X is a pretty good guy too. He does all kinds of work too.
Is a really good dude. So apparently, my dad knew him back in the days before Phil and the Drills when he was on that last Triumph album. Back in, I guess that would have been the late '90s, something like that. So, but yeah, apparently he's a good guy. I saw a video he did on just a quick video he did on, I don't know, it was Instagram or YouTube or whatever. Phil and the Drills opened for Def Leppard this past weekend.
Yeah. And
Phil was as giddy as a friggin' schoolgirl. And I'm like, you're in Bon Jovi, for God's sakes. Like, how is this a big deal for you? But apparently, and he just seems like a dude you could just shoot the shit with, which is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Joe.
Me? Kate? We're going to talk about that. I'm going to do this one.
Do that one.
Now, I think probably all of the guys, maybe except for Phil Rudd from AC/DC, maybe not so much because he tried to have someone killed, supposedly, whatever you want to call it. And they all partied pretty hard. And Angus and Malcolm, again, you don't really hear about a lot of bad things. It's not like they also did a lot of good things. We don't hear so much about that. But here's a guy, Brian Johnson, and this is his solo. So this isn't Gordy and this isn't AC/DC. This is his own stuff. Just again, seems to me in every time I've seen him, both in interviews and then he's hosted a couple of TV shows about cars. He's a big car guy. He just always comes across as a really good dude. And it seems like a lot of people also think that of him as well. The guys from Metallica, all of like a lot of people I think look up to Brian Johnson in the industry. He's always been a good guy, straight and narrow, I think, kind of. Probably drank a bit, but I think we all did to a certain extent, right? But he's a car guy, so he gets extra bonus points from me for that as well. And again, I've never heard necessarily a bad word about Brian Johnson. And this is a pretty good album. It's not AC/DC, and it's not, for those that don't know, he was in a band called Geordie before as well. It's a little closer to that.
He sings in his real voice, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. But it's good. And again, I have never seen anything but positivity for the most part out of Brian Johnson, including on stage as well, and going through the whole loss of hearing thing, and having Axl replace him. I don't know that he really necessarily complained about that. He just went and he kind of got it dealt with, and then he came back and they're out again. So yeah, Brian Johnson. It's a good album, Strange Man, for those that are fans and didn't know. I guess if you're a fan, you probably knew about it anyway, but it's not that hard to find. It's a little bit obscure, but it's not that hard to find. So
that's a good pick. You don't hear, I agree with you. You don't hear AC/DC in that light of being charitable and all this, but you also don't hear about them, like you said, other than Phil, as being this negative whatever band. I mean, I guess back in the 70s, some people were thinking, oh, AC/DC, those are satanic letters or whatever. Anyway, but that was every heavy metal band of the 70s, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think Angus and like they were both not that I'm not with my first wife anymore, but anyway, I think they've all been with their spouses for the most part, right? And that factors a little bit in as well. They just seem like good guys. It comes across that way. And yeah, Angus and Malcolm and George or Cliff as well, but still, I guess I just picked Brian because I wanted to show his solo album as well. So, and he's a car guy, so he gets, like I said, he kind of gets a couple bonus points for that too. So,
cool,
nice.
All right, all quiet in the comments section. So, Daryl, you're up again.
All right, up next. I don't know. I hope Richard's still here because I think Richard likes these guys. I'm going to kind of do like a twofer, but obviously one's a writer, and the other one is a member. Well, actually, I think both of them might have been the members of this band. But anyway, Bob Geldof is one of the ones that I wanted to talk about. I mean, he's the co-writer of Do They Know It's Christmas from Band-Aid and all that kind of stuff. But the other guy was the lead singer, or at least in the band Ultravox, and that's Midjour. And this is the Gift album, which has If I Was on it, which is a great song. But I was reading about Midjour, and I knew that he played a part in that whole Band-Aid and the Ethiopian famine and trying to raise money. And I mean, we could talk about all three of those, Northern Lights and USA for Africa and Band-Aid. But this is the one that kind of comes to mind just because he co-wrote the song with another guy who does all kinds of humanitarian and charity aid. But going through the list of Midjour here, I mean, he not only did he raise money towards that Ethiopian famine, he helped to organize the Nelson Mandela 70th birthday tribute. He performed at Prince's Trust Rock concert in the 1980s. He helped raise funds for Hurricane Hugo and the volcanic activity that happened. He has organized Live 8 concerts with Bob Geldof and the G8 leaders to take on the stance of world poverty, and many, many other things here. Like, I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't think there's too many musicians out there and writers of music that have organized that many events, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, he's battled his demons, right? I mean, he has battled alcohol and stuff for a good portion of his life. But once again, does that make somebody a bad person? No, it doesn't. It just means that they're struggling with other things, right? And you can do great things with personal issues going on. That's
sure.
So I think that him and Bob Geldof are fantastic people when it comes to music and what they've tried to do to raise money for things outside of music.
Yeah, and I was going to pull the Boomtown Rats as well and talk about Geldof, but I thought you might as well because, again, he's another one of those maybe saints and sinners, right? Not maybe necessarily the best sometimes, and I'm sure when you're putting on stuff like Live Aid, you got to be a little bit of an asshole on top of the fact that you're doing all the positive as well. So, but yeah, Band-Aid, Live Aid, all of that. Geldof's a big part of that. Midge a big part of that as well.
I think what you were saying is you kind of have to be a bit of an ass to get those things running. I mean, you're not going to be raising big concerts by being Mr. Nice Guy. And I agree with you that you kind of do have to step outside that box sometimes. I think Quincy Jones is another good example of that with USA for Africa. I mean, that guy and others that organized that whole thing, you're not going to get Bruce Springsteen and Michael Jackson in the same studio unless you pull some pretty big strings there. And that doesn't come with being a nice guy. No. But the cause, I guess, is what makes it a good thing.
Yeah. I just listened to the Boomtown Rats, The Fine Art of Surfacing today. I don't know if you've got that one or not, but highly recommend. It's good.
No, I don't have it, but I've heard it's good.
If you can find it. Maybe if there's ever another shipment comes up there, you'll have to get one of those in a box. So.
Cool. Sorry I had to step away. I just needed to say goodnight to the kid. So
of course.
Apologies. Okay. I'm gonna go this way. Tommy James from Tommy James and the Shondells. And the reason that I think Tommy James is a good guy is because, let's be honest, in the 60s, he was a rock star. And people know his songs. And yet he still took the time to do an interview with our friend Sam St. John on his YouTube channel.
Yep.
And I thought that was just the coolest damn thing. Like, listen, we all do this. We all make videos and, reach hundreds of people, unless we're Mazzy or, Melinda, we're not reaching anybody. Let's be honest, right? We're not. The only person I influence is Chris Mann. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not anything of any consequence, right? And most of us don't do this YouTube thing for that. We just do it to talk about records because it's fun. And I do it to hang out with you guys. So for somebody to get a request from somebody like us, most of them are going to go, I'm going to waste my time talking to some dude on YouTube in his basement. And yet Tommy James took the time to sit down and have an honest interview with Sam St. John, and it was awesome.
Yep.
And I'm so jealous because I'm a big fan. So glad that Sam got that experience. But I was just so impressed. Yes, he's his glory days are 60 years ago. But still, he took the time to sit down with, and I don't mean this as an insulting way to Sam, an inconsequential YouTuber, because we're nothing in the grand scheme. You have 2,000 followers on YouTube. Who gives a shit? Like,
right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To be of any consequence, you have hundreds of thousands or millions of viewers, right? We're never going to get there if you put all the YouTube channels that do records together. But I just love the fact that he's like, this guy asked me, and he's a music fan. I'm going to talk to him. So for me, that makes Tommy James a good dude. I have nothing else to base it on other than that. But that just impressed the hell out of me.
Plus a lot of great
music. Crimson and Clover is a great song.
Yeah. And great music.
Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet Cherry Wine was my favorite, but they're all great. Yeah.
My story actually I got about Tommy James and the Shondells is I remember this distinctly. I was in grade 4 or 3. I can't remember which grade. And my music teacher in elementary school asked us to go home and do this project where we had to interview our parents about their favorite musicians from when they were kids. Tommy James and the Shondells hit it off with both my parents. That was like one of their favorite bands of the 60s when I was a kid. So I did this report about it, and my music teacher's like, who the heck is Tommy James and the Shondells? And I'm going,
What?
You're the music teacher.
Fire that music teacher. Come on.
Yeah. Well, and a good indicator too is that there were tons of remakes of Tommy James songs that did, phenomenal for the people that did them, right? Moni Moni, and I Think We're Alone Now, and Crimson and Clover from my sweetie Joan and stuff like that, right? So yeah, he's phenomenal, and that's a great choice. And as you said, excuse me, for no other reason that he took the time to talk to someone like us, right? Because we've asked a few, I know you've asked a few, I've asked a few.
Yep.
And whether they just haven't had the time or what it is, but and they weren't the level of Tommy James either, right? So
right.
What's Jason sending you?
No, that was work this time.
Oh, well that's no fun.
I asked one of my guys that works for me to do something on the way in the morning, so which I would do, but I have a conference call before the thing that we got. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
All Joy to being the boss. So, Brian's saying Tommy James and the Shonda first concert you ever went to, Monet Monet.
That would have been good. That would probably have been a lot
speaking of songs that are covered, Billy Idol.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Monet Monet is not about a girl. Monet Monet actually was from a billboard outside his hotel room window for an insurance company, Mutual of New York. Mm-hmm. A little trivia for you. Yeah, I just thought of all the videos that I've seen by anyone on any channel in YouTube, that is my favorite just because I'm like, Sam, how the hell did you score that? He goes, I asked.
Yeah.
And I just go, that's awesome.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I just think that is so freaking cool of Tommy James to do that. So.
Agreed.
And we'll keep asking and keep getting turned down. It's like, pretty soon you're going to find a girl that'll actually want to dance with you.
You gotta kiss a lot of frogs. What? No, never mind.
Right. Good thing we're all married.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Me, I guess, eh?
You.
Yeah, he used his Southern charm. That's right.
Yeah, Brian, go check out Americana Sam. That's what Sam calls his channel now. Emailed Tommy James, said, hey, can we do an interview? And they actually sat down and had a great chat. You should check it out, Americana Sam. Great interview.
Good stuff, for sure. All right. Stanley, you're up. I should say, nobody's asked me why it's Stanley today.
Because of Paul Stanley? I don't know.
No, because that's my actual first name.
No, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, and I was at the doctor the other day, and whenever I'm in the waiting room, they always call some dude named Stanley, and I'm looking around. Okay, let's go. I want to get in there and go. Oh yeah, that's me. So it's either I'm in trouble with the police or I'm at the doctor's office. That's or the airport. The airport, they call me Stanley as well.
So Joe's your middle name.
Joseph, yes, Stanley Joseph. That's correct.
So I've always been intrigued by this. My grandfather went by his middle name. Why do you go by your middle name? Is that just a choice your parents made, or what?
Yeah, exactly. That it wasn't mine. And I mean, I guess I could have continued when I got to a certain point and said, no, stop calling me Joe or Joey or Joseph. That's earlier when I said, Chris, you can call me whatever.
Right.
I guess when they put me in school, in kindergarten, they just put it down as Joey instead of Stanley. I'm not sure why. And then it just kind of stuck from there. And it's different places. Like work knows me as Joe. I used to announce at a stock car track and a few other things. And my partner that I did that with, he always used to call me Joey. So everybody that knows me from there. So it just depends where you know me. And then, like I said, there's a lot of people that call me shithead, but they've met me in a lot of different places too.
So for now, in my mind, you're going to be Stan the Garbage Man from the song by Boys in the Bright White Sports Car.
Boys in the Bright White Sports Car. I'm going to see Trooper. I'm not going to see anybody that was on any album that was made by Trooper, but I'm going to see Trooper this weekend.
Awesome.
Okay, back to where we were. Is this a gatefold? I think this is a gatefold. It is, but I'll save it. this is a guy, again, probably saint and sinner, I think a little bit, and that is David Bowie. I think, again, maybe not necessarily a lot of sinner. I don't think I've heard a lot of negativity towards Dave. I'm sure, again, much like Elton, you get to a certain level and there's just going to be days you just don't want to deal with it or whatever you want to call it. So I think that's that. But he's also done a lot of really, really good things. Again, a lot of charity work that we know about, probably stuff we don't know about. He's helped some other artists, kids that when their dad has passed away, he's helped them out through their life and stuff like that. And I think, like I said, I think he's just, I think he's done a lot of good things. This album cover, I'm not sure if that's one of his best or not, but it is what it is. So it's a great album anyway. And there's the gatefold, just some more artwork on the inside. But
Better
yeah,
than the dog winner.
again, I don't think you wouldn't give him a halo necessarily, but you could have him carry one instead of wear it, I think. And because he did I think he did a lot of really good things and was never, you didn't hear about him being an ass in public that much. Really, I don't think. Not that I heard anyway. So I think that's a guy that falls into the good category. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Brian wants to know, does it give you anxiety or an identity crisis, the name thing?
it doesn't. No, like I said, the only time that it's even, I mean, Joanne has always called me, I think she calls me Joey for the most part, or if she's pissed at me, it's Joe. I know the difference when that happens. But no, it's just, like I said, it's just at the doctor's office. And again, if it's ever a police situation, but which hopefully and thankfully it hasn't been that often. Can't say it's never been, but you know, most of us are good guys a lot of the time and not 100% of the time. So
there you go. Brian's heaping some praise on Trevor for his Father's Day video. And Trevor saying thank you.
There you go.
All right.
Trevor's up late. Are you on holidays? What's going on out in Seattle, or are you somewhere else? That's why you're up late. Because this 7:12 my time is late for Trevor, I think.
Yeah, he's usually goes to bed at like dinner time.
Yeah.
Early riser. Okay. Daryl.
All right. Well, we talked about these guys in last week's episode, specifically the falling out between two of the members of the band. One of them, I don't think I've ever heard anything nice about one of the members of the band, but the other member, the one that I'm going to talk about from Pink Floyd, is David Gilmour.
Yep.
We talk about Roger Waters, and I mean, that guy is just, I don't know, he's become vile. We talked about him, but David Gilmour, I mean, yeah, they had a falling out, and they guaranteed, I mean, the discussions between these guys was probably not nice.
No.
But once again, the charitable work that David Gilmour has done, and I couldn't find too much about Roger Waters in this category, but he's done a lot of work on, you know, mental health and that kind of stuff since the death of Syd Barrett. And yeah. I think that's really good. Of course, this is the Momentary Lapse of Reason album. Not too well known, but it's a gatefold. It's the one that has Learning to Fly on it, which is a great song. But once again, like, he's done music therapy stuff. He's done Cancer Trust. He sold his house, and proceeds were 3.9 million pounds. Went to a housing project for homelessness, and then he sold 120. He auctioned off 120 of his guitars for charity. The Black Strat sold for $3.9 million.
Ooh.
The auction raised $21 million, and proceeds went to environmentalist charity Client Earth. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
So once again, right? I mean, these guys are volatile around each other, but what they do outside of the hobby is just fascinating to me. That you could even sell your guitar for that much money, for one. I mean, if somebody gave me that guitar and I sold it, I'd retire and that'd be the end of it.
Yeah, done.
And I mean, he's selling 120 of these things. It's crazy.
And then I think Nick Mason just kind of stood back and let them be who they were. But again, Nick is another guy you don't hear necessarily bad things about, and he's a car guy. But yeah, Gilmore, I think for sure, you're right. He's been involved in all of that charitable stuff, and he just, again, he was never the controversial part of Pink Floyd. That's for sure. I mean, that completely belonged to Roger.
And you watch him do performances and concerts, and he just genuinely seems like, even in the crowd, like when working with the crowd and stuff, he just seems like a really chill guy. Like he's not going all nuts on stage. He's just down to earth, it seems.
Yes. Yep. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Now, because of Roger's mind, we did get The Wall and some other stuff. So, but now he's just Anyway, I digress. We're talking about the good guys. And now another good guy is up.
Is there someone else here?
No, it's you. It's you.
Oh.
I was talking about you. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right. If I can get StreamYard to cooperate here. Come on, StreamYard. There we go. Okay. You mentioned earlier about the guy from Took that plays in Shania Twain's band, but he's out on the road with Kelly Clarkson. So this album happens to have his replacement in Shania Twain's band on it, but that's not who I'm talking about. Here's my friend Kendall Carson right there. She is touring with Shania now because the guy from Took is there. But that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about this guy right here, Alan Doyle. Canadian band Great Big Sea was his claim to fame. Popular Newfoundland folk pop rock, I guess. Have been broken up now for years. And Alan's out on his own with his band called the Big Beautiful Band. And he is a genuinely nice guy, approachable, loves to talk to fans, loves to talk to people. He does a thing, and he did it a lot during COVID, similar to what Adam Baldwin did, where he would do a live stream from his studio and raise obscene amounts of money for what it was, for food banks and charities and all that kind of stuff, which was very, very cool of him to do that. I have met him a couple times and just super nice. You know, we talk about the guys that just sign an autograph and it's next. He'll sit and talk to you for as long as you want to talk to him, right? And so the first time I saw him, I didn't actually meet him because I was at one of Kendall's shows and he was at the table next to me. And I'm like, fuck, that's Alan Doyle. I really wanted to go and say, hey, Alan, you know, how's it going? Big fan. And I'm like, he's just here to see her show because she's in his band. So he's just there to support his friend and employee, right? So after the show's over, you know, he leaves and I'm talking to Kendall as she's putting her gear away and stuff. And I go, Alan was at the table next to me. She goes, did you say hi? And I'm like, I wanted to, but I don't want to bother him. You know, he's not working. She goes, he would have loved it. She goes, you should have said hi to him. She goes, is he still here? I'll introduce you. I'm like, he's gone. She goes, you should have he loves when people come up and talk to him about music or the weather, whatever the hell you want. He loves that. I go, shit, I should have absolutely done that. When they did meet him about a year or so later, he absolutely was. It's one of those people that you meet for the first time and you feel like you've known them for a while and you can just carry on a conversation forever. Just a super, super nice dude. So there you go.
Good Canadian kid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And people in the comments are going, who the hell is that? We've never heard of him. I know. Sorry.
Alan is the shit. Tim's still here.
Yeah.
So.
How about that McDonald's Shania collab? Yeah, that's something. Yeah.
It is.
No. There's Tim. Tim has met Alan as well, and he's met my pal Kendall and the rest of the band, and they are absolutely good people. But Alan is just a super guy. Okay, Joe.
All right, let's stay in Canada, and let's go with this little known trio out of Ontario called Rush. I don't know that Getty is 100% on this list. I think he is. I'm very certain that Alex and Neil are, though, because, again, never heard a disparaging word about Alex and have never, ever heard anything but high praise for Neil, both on and off the stage. And I think Getty as well. I think, again, not to toot our own horn, but they're a bunch of Canadians, and that does seem to make a difference. There's lots of assholes in Canada as well, but I think overall, if you're in, especially, and Alan is another example, if you are a big star in Canada, it doesn't necessarily make you any better than the rest of us lowly Canadians.
And they know it. And they know it. That's the difference.
On stage. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, again, maybe Getty. I don't know. I don't think so, because I've seen him again with some interviews and him doing interviews with the guys from Primus. Actually, just seems like a good dude. Yeah, people don't like his voice, things like that, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about them as people today. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just so to your point about it doesn't necessarily make them a big star. Rush, arguably the biggest act to ever come out of Canada, except for your favorite Bryan Adams.
Yeah, yeah.
And Getty being the front man. If you're a Jays fan like I am, and you watch a lot of Jays games, he has season tickets behind home plate. And he's there about half the time.
Yeah.
And if you know where he is, you'll see him there. And here's the thing. I've been watching Jays games for 30 years. I don't remember how long he's had tickets. Years. I've never once seen anyone bother him, ever.
No
one goes up to him and be like, hey, it's like he's just a normal dude.
He's at the game watching the game like the rest of us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, look at that cover, man. That cover gives you points for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, and I will put part of that down to being Canadian. I really will, and I'm proud of that. I think we all should be. I know we are. And not braggadociously. That's not the case, but I'm proud to say I'm a Canadian. We don't wave our flag all the time and say a lot of hurrah, hurrah, but I will take any joke about Canadians being nice and saying sorry and watching our dogs run away out here anyway. All that, I don't have a problem with that. I'll take that 100% of the time. So
me too.
Yeah, we'll take jokes like that instead of jokes that we're a bunch of assholes. That's for sure.
Yeah.
My American colleagues make fun of me all the time, and I take off, hey, Hoser. I'll take all the comments. I don't mind. It's all good.
Exactly. You can use the term knob for good reasons and knob for bad reasons. You can be a knob and be a good knob, or you can be a bad knob. Anyway,
I have a speaking of knob and hose and all, like a quick funny anecdote. I was working a trade show at work, obviously, recently last year, and I'm standing there talking to one of my American colleagues, and I said, I don't remember the sentence I used, but it included the phrase, he was fucking the dog. You guys know what that means.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I just continue on like I'm, and the guy that I'm talking to is looking at me with this look of utter shock on his face. And he goes, okay, hold on a minute. You fucked a dog? And I'm like, no. Are you joking me? He goes, what are you talking about? I go, you don't have that expression down there? He goes, no, what does it mean? I mean, I said, it's the same as screwing the pooch. He goes, well, that doesn't help. I go, it means you're not doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing. If you're supposed to be working, but you're watching the ball game, you're fucking the dog. He's like, oh man, it was just this weird cultural, moment where you were just utter shock by an American that had no idea what the hell I was talking about. It was very funny.
Take off.
So now every time I talk to that guy, he goes, hey, you fucked the dog lately?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that'll be for as long as you talk to him now, but
exactly.
So. Yep.
Let's see. Richard's saying, I can't think of any bad Canadian people. Yes, you can. Wayne Gretzky is a wanker.
Yeah. There's some.
We all hate his fucking guts.
Bobby Orr is not far behind.
Amen. What else we got here? Brian is a quarter Canadian. I attribute some of my good nature to it. Yeah, we'll take credit for that, Brian.
Yeah, you can take. Yeah, we'll take that. That's good. Sure.
Trevor says gives new meaning to Three Dog Night. Yeah.
I like the
I don't
next
know who
one.
came up with it, but I use the saying all the time. So,
Yeah. Like that's the thing. I guess if you've got nothing else to do, that's the last scenario. I guess must be.
yes, Ryan, it's not universal, man. There's me and I don't know, another 20 some odd Americans in our sales team from all across the California, Utah, Florida, New England, and not a single one of them had heard that expression before. So, and yes, we have a very long list of Canadian wankers, led by Wayne Gretzky, dickhead. Okay, we went off on a big tangent there, and that's my fault.
Nope.
I was fucking the dog. I'm sorry.
That's right. Way to go, man.
Are we back to the top with Daryl? Is that where
Oh,
we're at?
look at him get it right. Look at him get it right.
But I can't.
Right.
Holy
Yes,
crap!
right.
Well,
You
listen, I still have 35 minutes to mess
Yeah.
this up.
Yeah.
Give it time.
Well,
Take it away, Daryl.
this next artist that I'm going to show is actually a VCLT gift I received a few months ago from none other than Joe. And unfortunately for this musician, his life was tragically cut short in an unfortunate plane crash. Probably could have showed this actually on Blue Collar Week too, but there's nothing here about charity or anything like that. But this is a genuine individual who I think was a genuinely nice person. Everybody seemed to have loved him. His wife encouraged him to stick with the music. He was doing odd jobs. I think one of them maybe was like driving a truck or whatever it was, until his life was cut short. And that's Jim Croce. I think Jim Croce, probably by all accounts, I've never heard anything bad about this guy. His music from a folk singing and soft perspective is fantastic. And I mean, it's hard to talk about somebody, in a very lengthy thing when his life was cut so short. The music he made in that short period of time in the early 70s, excuse me, Bad Leroy Brown, Time in a Bottle, excuse me.
Don't mess around, Jim.
Yeah, Don't Mess Around with Jim. I was trying to see if that was on here. But this Life and Times album that, you sent me, it's fantastic stuff. And once again, I mean, I'd like to talk longer about him, but I mean, there's not a lot to say other than he seemed like he was a blue collar worker trying to stay in the music industry with some pretty big names at that time. I mean, that's when Elton's getting into it, and some of these other musicians in the early, Don Henley and guys like that, they're all at the beginning of their careers, really, or partway through, and then that happens. And who knows what he would have done with his career had he not been in that plane, So
yeah,
just seems like a genuinely nice guy, and yeah, that's all I gotta say about Jim.
Yeah, just great songs. Just really, really great songs, and fun.
Yeah,
as well as-
songs that get you to think too. Like not like Bad Leroy Brown's a funny song and all that, but I mean, like songs like Time in a Bottle, it makes you think.
Yep.
And I think we've talked about artists like that sometimes it's just the lyrics get you.
Agreed.
Yep. Okay. Richard, if you're keeping score, get out your pen. This band has to come up once every week. But I like this because this personal note for me anyway. Let me just get the jacket out here. Hold on. Okay, here we go. These guys. Not these guys specifically. Talking about this guy, the guy holding the guitar. That's Bob Egan, my buddy. Not a famous musician in his own right, but he is in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. His name is on the Canadian Walk of Fame. He played with these guys for almost 20 years, and he played with Wilco before that. So a lesser-known journeyman of music, we will say. But a super nice guy. Now, obviously, I'm probably a little bit biased because he's my good friend. but I think he became my good friend because he's just a good dude. And so from a personal level, he has done many wonderful things for me. I mean, he has sat down and done 3 interviews with me on my YouTube channel. I've had 3-hour-long conversations about records that influenced him as a musician. They're fascinating conversations for me to have with him, and nice of him to do that on my YouTube channel. And he's done other great stuff, like our wives were pregnant his wife was pregnant a few months before mine was, but we both became fathers around about the same time. His son was born first. Mine was born a few months later. When my son was born, my wife and I, a couple days after being home from the hospital, I'm sitting on the couch. My wife's lying on the couch. She's fast asleep. Parker's in one of those little baby swing fucking things, and he's sound asleep, and my phone dings, and I get an email from him, and all it is a video from Jim and Greg, the 2 founders of this band, congratulating my wife and I on the birth of our son, which was a cool gesture. He has given me tickets to their concerts without having to pay for them. I would never ask because I don't exploit my friendship. And he goes, that's precisely why I want to do it for you, because you've never asked a thing from me. So the fact that I can do that for you was wonderful. Aside from all of the cool things that he's done for me on a personal level, he's also a really nice guy. He started a charity. He lives in Kitchener, Ontario, not too far from me. Guitars for Kids, I think is what it was called, where what he would do is he would take old guitars that people didn't want anymore, didn't matter what shape they were in, and he would repair them. Or if they were in good shape, he would happily take them, and he would give them to schools so that schools had guitars so that kids could learn music. And I think over I don't know how many years he ran the program, almost 10, thousands of guitars went to kids that couldn't afford them. And what a cool thing to do. So, not a famous rock star, but played in a couple very successful bands, kind of an unknown side man, but a super nice dude, and I'm quite grateful to call him my friend.
Good stuff, man.
No, and I think that that's important. I think that that's, you talk about music. I mean, me as a teacher, and I'm sure if there's any other teachers on here, I think Richard, but there are programs, music is one of them, that governments in Canada, they're eliminating them from schools. And I think that is a shame, because not every kid wants to go out and be a freaking rocket scientist. Not every kid is going to go out and be an engineer. They need some, and even if they don't want to pursue music, it's a vice for a lot of these kids and a good skill to learn. And I think it's fantastic that he did that, because it's sad when you've got schools that are so underfunded in all across the province of Ontario and all across Canada. They can't even
fund the living shit out of sports. Not everyone wants to do sports.
Yeah.
So, a couple comments here before we keep going. Andrew really likes Jim Croce. Richard's not keeping score.
Yeah.
Brian thought my story was cool. Richard's crying. Tim says it's quite a guy. On the other side of the Bob coin, he's counting the days to the Bob Wiseman show, who was the original keyboard player for Blue Rodeo. Tim and I chatted about that. I'm curious to see how that goes, because Bob Wiseman is a wanker. Bob Egan's a super nice dude.
Yeah.
They're eliminating music programs in the U.S. Well, that's what happens when you vote for the Orange Oompa Loompa. I ran a guitar club at my school. Former student is making his own guitars now. Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
That's
cool.
good. Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Let's go around again. No, it's Joe. We're not going around again. It's Joe's turn. See, I haven't screwed up yet.
No, you didn't screw it up. No,
We're still on there.
We're still good. Okay. And what the heck? We'll keep the Canadians going here. That seems to be a thread. It's not necessarily the case. We're going to have a little more Canadian music in our fold, but still, it was 9 years ago today that they played their final concert. We talked about it a bunch, and it is these guys. Again, I'm not sure collectively that necessarily that they may all be. I think they are.
They are.
And Gord was a little controversial, but much like another guy, I think we're going to talk about it, and I'm saving it because it'll come up, and then we'll all show which version of the albums that we picked. But the Indigenous thing, like all of the Indigenous work that they and Gord did a lot of, he was kind of the face of it, but all the guys were there, part of it as well. So, yeah, it was 9 years ago today that they played their final concert. I think everybody here knows, we've talked about it before, Gord Downie lost his life to brain cancer. Big final show. They're back in their hometown of Kingston. And again, it was August 20th in 2016. And and these guys played and they played and they played and then they played some more. There's a lot of Canadian bands like that. And we talk about, they never made it in the States, etc., blah, blah, blah. That's not necessarily the case. But man, these guys played everywhere and any type of venue, the same as Blue Rodeo, the same as what the Glorious Sons are doing these days. There's a lot of new Canadian bands that are doing that as well. The Defaults, the Finger 11s, the Headstones, all of those guys that just kept touring back and forth across this country, entertaining Canadians. In shitty Canadian winters, they'd still be on the bus and they'd still be out there doing tours. So for a lot of reasons, everybody in the hip, and Gord's out front. Again, not necessarily the biggest, but probably the biggest of, maybe the most vocal, we'll put it that way. I think all of the guys were very good guys, but I think Gord the most vocal when it came to Indigenous rights and other things as well. So good Canadian kids again, the hit.
Yep.
So.
Yep. All right, we'll keep her
I
going.
remember that concert for sure. That was a big one. It's like you said. I mean, you've done something when, as much as some people didn't like Justin Trudeau and all that, when the Prime Minister is at your final concert, you know that you've.
And it was broadcast nationwide on television.
Yeah. And we at the time, I don't know, this will be kind of made up numbers, but not completely. We had 33 million and 11 million people watched it. So at least 1/3, if not more, of Canada watched that show live as it happened. Not later, not taped, not on DVD, as it happened. So
I did not watch it because that very same night was my friend Bob is his last show with Blue Rodeo.
With Blue
Rodeo,
Rodeo,
was being live streamed, so I was watching that.
Yeah,
but they covered. There's a song that Bob did with the Tragic Hip, and they covered it at the Blue Rodeo show. So,
well, there you go. That's good. It
was from Phantom Power. I can't remember what song it was, but anyway, nobody cares except for us.
Yeah, people care. Of course they care.
All right, Daryl.
All right, so here's a guy. I've talked about this guy many times on my channel. I think I've brought him up many times on your show. I don't think I've ever heard a negative thing said about him. But I couldn't find anything talking about charity work and stuff. I'm sure he does. I know that he's not afraid to go out in public, especially at major league ball games and stuff like that. And he's even willing to play hoops with some of the NBA teams and stuff like that. Talks a lot of not just social issues, but just issues in general. I've done a deep dive of the albums. That's Bruce Hornsby. I think Bruce Hornsby seems to be a generally nice human being. I probably could have put Huey Lewis on here too, and I never thought about that. Huey Lewis. I mean, he's a little bit more arrogant, I think, but he's done interviews and stuff. Seems like a nice guy too. And they come from similar styles of music, so I'll group them. But I think that in general, I mean, he's collaborated with a ton of different musicians, all the way from Jerry Garcia to, he's got his own, I forget, he's in another band now too. I think they're called the Moonrakers or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but he's heavily involved in, like I said, into the sports in the United States. And I definitely know through reading that he's heavily involved with his kids. like encouraging them to play the sports or to do what they want to do. You know, it's not this show off and here's all this money kind of thing. I think he's just, yeah, he has that, but he's not flaunting it everywhere. And I think that's a good thing to raise your kids in that kind of environment instead of making them out to be arrogant idiots too. Like he's not the Kardashian. I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Right. Just arrogant idiots.
Yep.
So I think, like I said, we've talked about this when we did that show of ours with the social causes and stuff. And he's right in there. I mean, he's in there asking for like reform when it comes to racism and environment and all kinds of stuff. He's head on. And I think there's definitely something good to be said about that. He wants a better world, a better society.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. I like it. Okay. This was brought up in the comments earlier, so we'll do it now. I only own one record that this woman is on, and that's Dolly Parton. Not necessarily a Dolly Parton fan. Huge Linda Ronstadt fan, which is why I bought this. Not a big fan of this record per se, but it was cheap, and so, why not? But yeah, Dolly Parton, by all accounts, is a very, very charitable person. Loves to help other people, is not very public about it because that's not why she's doing it. She's had her issues too. I mean, she was friends with Kid Rock. Well, that makes you
Yeah.
dick, but I think it's outweighed by all the good that she's done. She's done a lot to support children's literacy. She has a foundation I believe it's called the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, where you send her a letter and you have a kid, yep, she will send you a book every month for your kid until they're 5 years old.
Yep.
I have a whole collection of them in the back room from when my daughter and my older son were little. It was fantastic.
Cool. How awesome is that? I mean,
she mailed them. She shares the cost with some organization, but she still does it, and that's amazing. Yep.
And how old are your kids, Daryl?
My daughter's 21 and my older son is 25.
Right. So it's been going on at least 25 years and she still does it. So good for her.
Yep, exactly. And I knew you mentioned it earlier. So yeah, just a fantastic person. Seems, was with the same guy for a number of years and probably had every dude in the world hit on her along the way and everything else. And probably arguably put up with a lot of shit along the way as well. Mm-hmm. But fantastic songwriter, has written a lot of songs, 3,000 plus, according to her anyway. And she wrote Jolene and what's the other one? She wrote, and I Will Always Love You, both on the same day. She wrote those two songs on the same day. So you're doing something right. But there's the back cover as well. Greatest hits. But yeah, that was a name. Again, when Joanne mentioned this, that name came up right away because I've heard very little. I can't say I've ever heard a bad word, and I've heard many, many good words as well. So plus other artists, a lot of artists look up to her. Like, I don't think it was an issue at all. They get people to do stuff on that album back there, right? Mm-hmm. People were probably lining up to do it. And you're right. Sometimes she hangs out with, like, she's hanging out with Motley Crue now. And I'm not sure what she's doing. Maybe, hopefully, somehow she rubs off on them a little bit. And maybe the same thing with Kid Rock. But
you don't want them rubbing off on you because there's not soap strong enough to get that off.
There is not. No, they fell into the category last week, except for Mick Mars. I didn't include Mick. So
right.
But another hair band of that ilk, at least one of the guys, I think, is pretty decent. Now, these are the best looking band. I can't remember what Motley Crue said about Poison. Something along they were the best looking group of girls they ever saw. Anyway, Bret Michaels, from all I understand, is a good dude, I believe. Now he's a spokesman for diabetes because he's had that all his life, so he's part of that. And I think for the most part, he's from what I understand, he seems like he's a good guy. When I've heard him speak, he seems like he's a good dude, comes across that way. So I added him into the list, and I just thought I'd mention that one quick and put it out there. But I've heard good things. I haven't heard a bunch of bad things. Now, CC and Ricky Rocket, and I don't know the other dude's name. The other dude, I don't know about them, but I think Michaels is a decent dude. I think I've heard good things. And again, he helps the kids with juvenile diabetes. He's part of that. He's a big part of that as well. So, give him credit for that, if nothing else. And again, I don't think he's not in the Motley Crue vein, that's for certain. Yet ran in somewhat the same circles. Now, again, saint and a sinner at the same time for sure, but overall, I don't think a bad guy. So, hi, Scott.
And Poison's a cool band. I like Unskinny Bop. It's such a dumb song, but it's good.
I know. I like them. I mean, I like Motley Crue too, but they're just good. They were just a little more poppy for sure than some of the others of the same time frame. But and they were good in concert. I saw them forever ago in Denver, Richard. I saw them at Greenbrier, I think it's called. I can't remember. You'll correct me. Them and Dawkin, and it was good. And yeah, so there you go.
There you go. Hey, Scott, good evening. Thanks for joining us. We're talking the good guys or girls of music tonight because we did Wankers last week. So
yeah.
Richard's saying he had a bunch of videos pop up in his feed lately about Ozzy Osbourne being really kind with kids and causes, including that final show proceeds going towards Parkinson's research. So, yeah. Wayne Shorter was a good dude. And Brian is saying it's Fiddler's Green.
There you go. That's right. Exactly. That's the only one I ever saw there, but it was good. Really good, actually. Just a nice open-air amphitheater in the middle of September. It was awesome.
All right, let's go around one more time, and then we'll end with the one we think we're all going to end with, who only has one name and is from an Irish rock band.
Okay, yeah, because that's I figured we'd all at least I got one of those. I'm not sure. So
okay, so this is this the
so we'll go speed round and then yeah,
sure.
Okay, so speed round. All right, so I've talked about this before that, I mean, I don't have like a ton of Christian music in my collection. And I think one of the things about Christian music sometimes is that the ones that are singing it are two-faced. But I don't think that that's the case with Amy Grant. I think Amy Grant seems to be a genuinely, I mean, this is her least Christian of the albums, Heart and Motion with Baby Baby and all that. I mean, yeah, she got kind of caught up in that interview where she said that they skewed it and said that she promoted premarital sex and all that kind of stuff. But who cares? Over the years, she's won all kinds of awards, and she just seems, even now that she's married to Vince Gill since 2000 or whatever, she just seems like a nice person. So I'll go with Amy Grant. Lionel Richie, I think there's definitely some good in his music and his philanthropy and stuff like that. I mean, he's not always the nicest guy, kind of arrogant, but I mean, hey, he took in an adopted daughter, right? And I mean, to me, that says a lot about a person, and he's never given up on her. He's the grandfather of her kid and all that kind of stuff. So there you go. I think Freddie Mercury was a pretty nice guy. I don't think that he had probably had some, kind of like the Elton John situation, probably some diva-ness there, but seemed like a genuinely nice person. And I think he knew that his time was coming, and that kind of thing.
I was going to show Freddie because I read about him he's kind of apparently he'd like give you the shirt off his back. I mean, when he died, he left his house and his estate to his friend because she had been living there. So
that's right. I
all
read that
kinds
too.
of things about he had a friend that was sick, so he left the recording studio so he could go take care of his friend. And it just basically, if you knew him and you needed something, you didn't ask; he just did it for you.
Yeah, and Brian May too, I think, from Queen.
Yes,
probably Roger,
sure.
Probably all of them. But I think that's a band that collectively, not to interrupt you, but again, I had that one pulled out too. But May's done a lot of great things. He's been a lot of the same part of that Prince's Trust and all of those things that we talked about earlier as well.
I didn't realize I actually had this many albums out. Whatever. For all the douchiness that this guy had, I mean, he definitely had some good raising money for children and that kind of thing, though.
We really like children.
We do know the controversies. Exactly. That was the problem. This guy, just a genuinely nice guy. We've talked about him on multiple occasions. Weird Al Yankovic seems like a stellar individual.
Yeah. And it's a great album too. Right.
The duo Tears for Fears, I was reading about them. Both of them, you know, they've done stuff for raising awareness about child abuse and things like that. So really good. I know that Roland, where is he on this side? He didn't have a very good life as a kid. Rob, you mentioned Linda Ronstadt. I'll just briefly mention her. Nice individual and got some good music. And then I'll finish off. You talked about Dolly. Well, why not go with a little bit of Kenny Rogers to end it off here? I mean, yeah, once again, he had some demons, but at the same time, he had a lot of friends. And he was a pretty good country musician. Can't say the same thing about a guy like Johnny Cash. I think Johnny was a little on the other end of that extreme, but there you go. That's where I will end it. Some Kenny Rogers.
The Gambler's such a good song, man. I love that song. It's just, it brings back memories, you know, all the words, and it's just a great song, I think. So.
Okay. Any guess what I'm going to show here, Joe?
Yes, I am fairly certain that it will be TC.
It is. Okay. I mean, I've told the story, so I guess I have to tell it for the fifth time. But Tom Cochrane, or for our American friends, the lead singer of Red Rider, if you've heard of Red Rider, very regarded, legendary songwriter in Canada. He's in the Hall of Fame here. He 50-year career, highly regarded by everyone as one of the great rock musicians of the last 50 years in Canada. And I met him, and it was an incredible experience. He played in my hometown, did an acoustic show, and I bought a meet and greet ticket, and there was only 3 of us at the meet and greet, which was insane. And so we were backstage after the show with him for about 45 minutes to an hour, and he spent time with each one of us individually, and he could not have been a more down-to-earth man. Was so kind. Should I tell the story, or do people give a shit because I've told it too many times?
No, tell the story, man. What the hell?
Right.
It's a great story. Sure.
His big hit solo was "Life Is a Highway," which is off of this record, "Mad Mad World." And I had a video of my son. My son at the time, I think, was 8 when I met him, and I had a video from when he was about 5 on my phone, and he was just playing it on a plastic ukulele, just screaming "Life Is a Highway." The ukulele was a gift from the guys in Blue Rodeo, by the way. And so it was hilarious. So I said to Tom, I said, I just got to show you this. This is my son from a couple years ago. And he watches this video of my little 5-year-old screaming "Life Is a Highway." And it's hilarious. And Tom goes, "This is incredible." He goes, "I wrote that song 30 whatever years ago. And here's a kid in 2025 singing." He goes, "That is why I write songs." And he goes, "Writing songs matters to me more than anything else. Performing, it doesn't matter. The songwriting matters." And the fact that 30 years later, a little kid is singing something I wrote, he goes, "This is why I make music." He goes, "Thank you for showing me that." And he had his assistant go grab a picture. He goes, "What's your son's name?" And I told him, and he signed the picture. My son's name is Parker. To Parker, "Life Is a Highway," from your friend, Tom Cochrane. And I have it framed, and it's in my son's room. And that was just we had a cool chat. And as I was about to leave, he goes, "Don't go." I go, "Okay." He goes, "Got to give me a hug." Okay. Gave Tom Cochrane a hug. There was a cool thing that I don't know if I've shared this part of the story. There was another guy there, 2 other guys, but one of them had done some sort of charitable work in Africa to fight hunger, which is something Tom was passionate about. It still is, and used to do some famine relief work back in the 80s or whatever. and this guy was telling Tom that story, and Tom was really moved by it. And as the guy was getting ready to leave, Tom says, "I want to give you my phone number." And the guy's like, "What for?" And he goes, "So we can stay in touch." And the guy's like, you can give me your phone number?" He goes, "Yeah, we have this connection about something that's very, very important to me. And, I think we should be friends." And the guy actually cried. He was so moved by it. And it was such a cool experience. He was just such a nice man, a guy I've seen on TV for 30 years. And he was just this sweet old man. And I've met a lot of musicians, Canadian ones that most people outside of here haven't heard of, but still important to us. Greatest experience. It was wonderful. And so I mentioned to my buddy Bob, who's in the industry, I was telling him I met Tom Cochran. He goes, "And how was that?" And I said, "It was awesome." And he goes, and Bob says, "He is the gentleman of gentlemen." So there you go. Great guy.
Yeah, and every time you talk about it, that just makes me feel so great, because that is exactly what I thought. And I know I say this all the time, but it strikes me every time you talk about it. It's like, thank goodness, because that's exactly what I thought and hoped he would be. And the fact that he is fantastic.
Well, they always say, don't meet your heroes, right? Because what if they let you down? I mean, this isn't music related, but when I was a teenager, I had a big fan on the actress that played the Pink Power Ranger, and I met her later in life, and she was a fucking bitch. Just couldn't have been more of a bitch. So, it's a double-edged sword, right? Do you meet them, do you not? But he was everything I could have hoped for and more. So
now I didn't pull a guy out because I assumed you would, because you told me that you were still looking for a few. But Springsteen, I don't have it in my pile because
I didn't know what to say about him being a nice guy. So I'm sure he sounds like he is.
Right. He sounds like he is. Again, certainly rock starry, but we can relate somewhat to Daryl's story of meeting him on the street. And if you haven't heard this story, go back when DJ Vinyl Vertigo was with us. And the story that he tells, but meeting Springsteen and just the way that Bruce interacted with him.
True.
He's got to be a good dude.
Scott's story is cool. Punched him in the shoulder, went, "Hey, you're Bruce Springsteen."
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, So I like I said, I think he should be on this list. I didn't pull anything out because I assumed you were going to. So,
well, I hear the story, and John Bon Jovi tells it in the documentary when John was going through all the vocal problems and couldn't sing anymore and had the vocal surgery, and he was really bummed out because he thought maybe my career is over. Bruce came over and said, "Let's go. We're going for a car ride. Leave your phone behind." And they would do this quite regularly. Now that's superstar to superstar. But take in the car, neither of them are famous. In the car, they're just guys, right?
Yeah,
they're on equal footings.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm doing this because my buddy's going through a tough time. And if hanging out with me gets his mind off of it, then mission accomplished. So I always love that story. I think that's great.
Just two dudes from New Jersey. Yeah, no, that's the thing. And again, heard, not bad. He takes a lot of shit for his views, but I don't think I've heard a lot of bad for sure.
Right, yeah.
So
note
that he should note everyone that he should have been here, but none of us decided that they'd pull one of the records out. So, all right, Daryl knocked a couple of mine off as well along the way. Queen and Weird Al. I've talked about these guys before. I don't know if I've necessarily shown this album though. This is the most recent, other than the brand new one that's coming out in the next little while. Hello, Alex. Nice to see you, my friend. This is Shinedown. Brent and the rest of the band, again, all seem to come across as really good guys. They talk a lot about mental health issues. They talk a lot about bullying. They talk a lot, again, about everybody having equal rights and that. So, again, I think the guys from Shinedown really fall into the category of the good guys in rock. Like I said, this is the most recent. There's them on the inside. That's kind of a cool gatefold. But there's a really good song on here, The Symptom of Being Human. And if you watch the video, sometimes videos are actually biographical, if that makes sense, where what they're singing about, they really do a good job of showing it off in the video. And I think they do a nice job of that. But you go back to a song actually like Bully as well. And there's some anger, there's some issues when it comes to that type of stuff. But again, they definitely, no pun intended, but they shine a light on that. Even back to Suicide, back to 45, and a lot of that stuff. So I think they fall into the category of the good guys. And as I get it back into my vinyl storage solutions.ca sleeve, use the promo code Northern10. The last one I've got before we talk about the other guys is a guy that, I don't know, maybe it's weird to talk about him this way, but I've heard nothing but good things about Alice Cooper. Vincent Fournier, as maybe he's a little more known when he's just being a normal, not this character. Loves to go and golf. I've got a friend, her brother's golfed with him twice. He comes to Saskatchewan, and when he comes to Saskatchewan, he phones up my buddy's brother and says, hey, let's go play golf. I think that's why he tours still. He just wants to play all the golf courses, and he probably doesn't pay a lot for golf. Not that it matters, but again, another car guy. He definitely had his demons and his issues back in the day. This is not a gatefold as much as it's one of those covers that this is inside the insane asylum, because that's on the inside when you open it up, but it's him. It's a lot of stories of after when he came back out and after he got clean. It is also a gatefold, but there's some more of the inside. And Bernie Taupin of Elton John, Bernie Taupin fame, wrote some of the stuff on here as well. This is a underrated album. How You Gonna See Me Now is on here from the inside. It's good stuff. I like it. And again, I've heard nothing but good things about Alice. Seems to be a pretty decent family man. He's had his daughter on tour with him doing parts. His wife plays the psychotic nurse on stage and does a lot of the theatricals. She's a dancer. She does a lot of things with him. His bandmates have always said nothing but good things about him as well. So yeah, Vincent Fournier, otherwise known as Alice Cooper.
And he plays an amazing role in Wayne's World, which is hilarious.
Yeah, that's right. Milwaukee. Yeah. Yeah, it's just another guy I thought of instantly. And again, you would think the stage persona would be, what the hell? But that's not the case as far as I've ever heard. And I think Trevor, our friend Trevor of Flat Round and Spun, has met Alice before, I think, in a record store. And again, I think had good things to say about him. But there you go.
Okay. Let's bring this thing home. Did you pull this guy, Daryl?
I did.
All right. So we all pulled it. So let's.
Which one? Oh, you went with War?
No War.
I went with October.
And I went with 18 singles.
Oh, there you go.
It's got old Bono and younger Bono.
Old Bono and new Bono. Yeah, exactly.
And it's got its gatefold. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
So, Bono, what do we say about Bono? I mean, we said last week he could be a wanker because there are people that I kind of fall into this category. Massive U2 fan. I know Richard is too. But sometimes you just want to say to Bono, shut up. Enough. Comes off as very preachy and very... It seems like he buys into his larger-than-life persona sometimes. Mm-hmm. You know, how could you not? He's one of the biggest bands in the world for a very long time. So, but the flip side of his being a little bit, you know, maybe egotistical or whatever. I've never heard anyone say that he's a bad dude, but just you go, enough, Bono. We know, whatever. But I mean, his humanitarian work, I don't think can be matched by anybody in music.
Yep.
No. Every concert you go to, he's preaching about some cause you've never heard of before. You know what I mean? Like he is all about. There's one, I think it's on the U22, which was a fan club release. You know, he's talking about someone who's in prison because she stood up for female voting rights in Burma.
Yeah.
Who the hell would know? You know what I mean? Like, good for him. Like, but he's all about humanitarian and every kind of cause you could think of, and he's using that platform to bring awareness, I guess. So that's my.
It's crazy because he's been doing it ever since were a band.
Yeah,
I mean, you go back to Band Aid, Conspiracy of Hope in '86, like all the way to the present. He's been doing it for 40 years.
Yeah, a lot of these guys will take their stardom and use it for nefarious reasons. Not a lot, but there are a lot of that. So yeah, he's out there and people get tired of him talking about it. But he's putting his money, he puts his money where his mouth is as well.
Yeah. Does he? Because that's what I wonder. Does he add? I mean, he's got more money than you could ever.
I can't say that for sure, but I believe so. I guess I can't say that for sure, but yeah, I guess he puts his mouth where his mouth is, if nothing else, right?
Well, I think, and I don't know, and maybe he doesn't publicize it, and that's probably true. But if you're out there telling me that I should put my money to the cause, you better be doing it too, because you have 1 trillion times more money than I do. So
yeah,
and I don't know if he does or doesn't. I don't know, but
Trevor's been waiting to say that. He's just waiting.
This is the comment of the night. I'm going to give this a star, Trevor. This is the star comment. It's a free show. Is it pro bono? Yes, it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I guess we say hats off to him for using the platform for something constructive.
And then the rest facilitated as well, right?
Sure.
Like, does the Edge go, shut up, man? Or no? Because I think that it's still part of it for them. They're less vocal, but they're still part of that band, and it's still part of their message, right? I don't imagine that if they weren't on board with it, that it would happen as often as it does. Or it doesn't that much anymore. Like, the Sphere was maybe the wrong venue for it, but also a good venue for it because so many eyes were on them at that time. But obviously we know about the fact that he would go on at shows and stuff like that. And there's lots. Bruce will do that too. I mean, Bruce just pissed off a lot of people over in the UK in the last little while.
Yeah.
But there was none of that at the Sphere stuff. So, again, I don't think Bono will never have learned his lesson, let's call it, but it's not as much anymore, but he still discusses it for sure. So
I could be wrong, but I seem to remember that the single for One, which was on Octung Baby, it had a gold cover with a buffalo jumping off a cliff or whatever. I seem to remember that all the proceeds, or a good portion of the proceeds of that, went to like the World AIDS Foundation or something like that. So
yeah.
I think they've done some stuff, but at the very least, he's bringing awareness and he's using the platform for something. So
yeah,
much as sometimes you get tired of him being a little holier than thou and a little preachy, good for him. He's doing some good stuff too. So we'll call him a good guy. Yes.
Kid Rock is equally, if not more, egotistical than Bono.
Right.
But what does Kid Rock do positively other than,
blow up bud cans, I guess.
I guess, right? So yeah, he's out there, and then nobody brought up the fact that they gave us all a free album as well if we bought an iPhone at the right time. So
right,
but anyway.
So that does it for good guys, right? We've talked about every good guy there is in music. There isn't any others.
There's only
we started with Taylor Swift and we ended with Bono. There you go.
Yeah. Not sure, but there were some good ones in the middle though too. But
yeah, that was good. We'll do as we always do, go around the horn. Daryl, what's shaking up in the Arctic?
I'm going to try to get something up before the weekend, just with work starting now. I think it's going to be a little less videos, but I definitely have some ideas in mind. That 4x4 one that you did, I mean, I've seen other ones. That's a cool one. I want to try to do that one.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I enjoyed that.
And I have one so there's one that Randall Weaver did like a year or two ago. Albums that you've played like 100 times. I want to try to do something like that. I don't think I can say that I've played any vinyl 100 times, but I think that over the course of my life with CDs versus vinyl. I have some that I could do some. I'm thinking maybe doing a video on albums I've listened to at least 50 plus times. I think that would be a cool one to do.
Sure.
And I've got a whole other list. I've got one that I want to do about Juno Award winners for Canadian.
That's
stuff.
A good one.
Yeah,
or Juno, people that were nominated for Junos but did not win it, that you'd be surprised about, that kind of thing. So I'm looking at doing something like that, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
Very cool. I like it. Joe, what's going on at the store?
Yeah, it's all the store. My channel's there, and I like my channel. And who knows, maybe in a couple months I'll go on a run again, do some more. But for the most part, it's this and or a few other things. I'm going to eventually get on Chris's. We'll see. But it's not for a lack of not wanting to be there, Chris, and you know that. But anyway, the store, again, good, steady, not crazy, but steady. It's always good. Couple collections coming in. I did one video, which again, I don't know if it necessarily equates to anybody that's maybe not necessarily going to come into the store to buy an album, because it's me just showing 12 things that I think are interesting. So but your last video of 12 records or 10 records that shouldn't be in the store. Yeah. There were some doozies on there. Like, they shouldn't be in the store. They shouldn't. I know exactly. That's the thing, but yet they are. So I try and get it out there and do that. Other than that, not a whole bunch. Like I said, store's good. We're going to have a Saturday opening, but again, none of that matters because Devin's the only one that's kind of close that could maybe come, and Devin's not here tonight. But anybody, if you're ever in Regina, you know what record store to come to. So
there you go.
Yeah.
For me, I did. I've moved my Sunday videos. I only do every other Sunday now for the foreseeable future. So I did 4x4, which is the thread that Simon at Return to Vinyl over in the UK started, where you show 4 albums each by 4 artists. So I showed 4 albums by Delaney and Bonnie, and I showed 4 albums by the Old 97s, and I showed 4 albums by, I don't remember who else. 2 other artists. I don't remember. I did Levon Helm from the band. I don't remember what the last one was because I don't remember what I did this morning. But it was fun. It was a kind of a neat idea because I showed albums that I hadn't shown from those artists. Because I tend to have, if I like an artist, I may not be a completist, but I have a lot of their albums. So, I don't always get a chance to show them for one reason or another. So it was a good chance to do that. So that was fun. And the other thing I did this week is on Monday, I was a guest with Keith on Attack Down Under. He asked me if I wanted to come on and talk about Springsteen. And I said, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And Joe and I have talked about it. We're going to do one at some point in time. But it was a good chat. Keith is a longtime Springsteen fan, 40 years or whatever. And I am new to Bruce. So it was an interesting comparison of 2 viewpoints. And that was a lot of fun. Keith is a great guy. Enjoy watching his stuff. And it was fun to finally do a video with him. So that's up on Keith, Attack from Down Under, or Down Under, as he says. Under. I linked it on my community page as well, so feel free to check that out. So that's where we sit.
Yeah, and if you take nothing else away from this episode, just be good to people. That's all the world needs, man. The world needs that. There's too much bullshit. There's too many idiots out there. Just be good to each other. I know that sounds sappy or whatever, but that's all I want out of you. Again, I don't care of your color, your religious preference, your sexual preference. I don't give a rat's ass about any of that. I just want you to be a decent person and we'll hang out. That's the bottom line. So
Joe will even hang out with you if you like the Summer of '69.
I will. And us Nickelback fans have to stick together.
I was going to say, Rob will hang out with you even if you got a Nickelback t-shirt.
I know.
Exactly. It's a simple concept though, I'm not going to get on my soapbox, but just be good to each other, people. And I think everybody that's here is always fantastic. So
Yes.
I think we're preaching to the choir.
We are.
So,
We are.
yeah.
Well, with that, we'll wrap this thing up. Thank you, guys. That was fun. To everyone that watched, thank you as always for spending a bit of time with us. We love interacting with you. And for those that are going to watch this later on, thank you for giving us some time. We appreciate it. We always have fun and look forward to this. We will be back next week. Hopefully, we'll have a guest with us to talk about something else.
Yeah,
Which we'll probably figure out on next Tuesday. So
that's right.
that will be it for us. Check out Joe at On a Vinyl and Daryl of the Northern Vinyl Guy. That's it for us. We'll see everybody next week.
You will.
Bye, guys.